Point 1. Independence. Learning to stand alone. When a man is single, he is forced to face reality by himself. There is no partner to cook for him, no one to remind him about bills, and no one to share responsibilities. At first, this may feel lonely or even scary, but with time, this loneliness transforms into strength. The man starts learning how to depend only on himself, and this creates a solid foundation of independence. Think about it. A man who can live alone, make his own decisions, and manage his daily life without help is far stronger than a man who always needs someone beside him. A dependent man is like a boat without an anchor, easily carried away by the waves. But an independent man is like a strong mountain, standing tall, no matter what storms come his way. This independence is not just about daily chores. It also shapes his mind. A man who learns to enjoy his own company becomes mentally strong. He does not need noise, constant attention, or approval to feel good about himself. Instead, he feels secure in his own skin. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true freedom is not about controlling others, but about controlling ourselves. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Being single gives men the perfect opportunity to master themselves. They learn how to handle stress, how to fix problems without waiting for someone else, and how to stay calm in silence. They learn how to turn solitude into a training ground. For example, when a man lives alone, he becomes responsible for everything, paying bills on time, maintaining his health, making career choices, and planning for the future. These responsibilities may look small, but together they build a stronger man. Each decision, each action is like lifting a weight in the gym. Over time, his inner muscle of independence grows. Compare this to men who never experience single life. Some of them jump from one relationship to another, always depending on someone for emotional support or practical help. They never truly face themselves, and because of this, they never grow independent. These men may seem comfortable in the short term, but when life throws a challenge at them, they struggle. Why? Because they never learn to stand alone. A single man, on the other hand, becomes battle-ready. He does not fear being alone because he has already faced it. He does not collapse under pressure because he knows how to solve problems. And most importantly, he does not lose himself in the presence of others because he already knows who he is. This is why independence is the first step to strength. It may begin with simple acts like cooking your own meals or fixing something at home, but it leads to a deep mental power. The man who is single and independent is not weak or unlucky. He is preparing himself to face the world without fear. Independence is freedom. Independence is confidence. And independence is the foundation on which all other strengths are built. Point 2. Financial freedom. Control over money. When a man is single, one of the greatest strengths he develops is financial freedom. Money is not everything. But let's be honest, without money, life becomes stressful. Many men in relationships often feel financial pressure. They spend on dates, gifts, trips, dinners, and sometimes even on responsibilities they are not ready for. This constant spending may look normal, but slowly it can drain their savings, their stability, and their peace of mind. A single man has the chance to avoid this trap. Instead of spending money just to impress, he can use his income to build his future. He can save, invest, and create a safety net for himself. This is a power that cannot be underestimated because money equals freedom. The more financial stability a man has, the more control he has over his own life. Think of two different men. The first man spends half of his salary trying to look good for others. He buys expensive clothes, pays for dinners, and tries to show off his wealth. At the end of the month, his bank account is empty. He looks rich on the outside, but inside he is worried, stressed, and weak. The second man lives a simple life. He spends wisely, invests carefully, and does not feel the need to show off. At the end of the month, his savings grow. He is calm, confident, and in control. Which man is truly stronger? It is the second man, the one who chooses discipline over display. Being single gives men this discipline. Without the constant demand to spend money on others, he can focus on long-term growth. He can start a business, learn a skill, or invest in assets that will bring him security later. This doesn't mean a man should never spend. It simply means he spends with purpose, not to impress. The Stoics believed that wealth is not about luxury but about freedom. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." A single man who learns to manage his money wisely becomes rich in the truest sense. Not because he has endless cash, but because he controls his desires and choices. Financial freedom also gives a man confidence in relationships. Instead of staying in a toxic situation, because he is scared of losing financial support, a financially independent man can walk away. He does not beg. He does not compromise his self-respect for money. This freedom protects his dignity. Another benefit is the ability to take risks. When a man has savings and stability, he can explore opportunities like moving to a new city, starting a new career, or traveling to learn new skills. These risks make him stronger and wiser. On the other hand, a man who is financially trapped has no courage to take risks. He is chained by his expenses and debt. So when a man is single, every dollar he earns is a chance to build his kingdom. Every wise choice he makes today becomes strength for tomorrow. Financial freedom is not about being rich. It is about being free, free to say no, free to walk away, and free to live life on your own terms. Point 3. Personal growth, time for yourself. One of the biggest gifts of being single is time. Time is the most valuable resource in life, yet many people waste it without realizing. When a man is in a relationship, much of his time goes into texting, calling, meeting, solving arguments, or trying to keep someone else happy. This is not always bad, but it often leaves very little energy for himself. When a man is single, all that time comes back to him. He can finally use it to focus on his own growth. He can ask, what do I want? What skills do I need? What kind of life do I want to build? These questions may sound simple, but they are powerful. They help a man build a direction for his future. Personal growth can mean many things. For one man, it may mean building his body at the gym. For another, it could mean reading books, learning new skills, or advancing in his career. For some, it could mean exploring hobbies, traveling, or creating something unique. Every hour spent on self-improvement adds value. Think of personal growth like an investment. Imagine you put money into a savings account every month. It slowly grows into something big. In the same way, every hour you put into yourself compounds over time. After 1 year, you are stronger, smarter, healthier, and more skilled than before. This is the true power of being single. History gives us many examples. Great leaders, philosophers, and writers often spent long periods of their life single. During that time, they wrote books, studied deeply, and built their legacies. They understood that solitude is not weakness, it is a workshop for greatness. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often wrote in his journal during quiet nights. Those writings later became his book Meditations, which has inspired millions for centuries. Would he have achieved this if he had wasted every evening in endless distractions? Probably not. His solitude became his strength. Personal growth also builds self-respect. When you see yourself getting better, lifting heavier weights, earning more money, gaining new knowledge, you begin to value yourself more. You no longer compare yourself to others because you are busy competing with your past self. This quiet confidence is magnetic. People respect a man who is clearly improving. Another key benefit of focusing on personal growth while single is clarity. Many men rush into relationships without knowing who they are or what they want. This often ends in problems because they expect another person to complete them. But a man who has spent time alone, growing and learning, does not look for completion. He is already whole. He looks for partnership, not dependency. And let's not forget mental health. Growth gives a man purpose. Without purpose, life feels empty, and loneliness feels heavy. But when you are busy improving yourself, loneliness transforms into focus. You are no longer bored, you are building. So remember, being single is not wasted time. It is a golden opportunity to invest in yourself. You may not get this chance again, so use it wisely. Every hour you spend on growth today will make you stronger tomorrow. As the Stoics believed, the only wealth you truly own is the wealth of your character. And personal growth is how you build that wealth. Point 4. Emotional control, becoming unshakable. One of the most powerful lessons a man learns during single life is emotional control. Relationships often come with emotional ups and downs. Arguments, jealousy, insecurity, and constant expectations. Many men lose their peace because their emotions depend on another person's behavior. When someone else controls your emotions, you are not truly free. But when a man is single, he is forced to face his emotions directly. He cannot hide from loneliness. He cannot escape by depending on a partner's comfort. Instead, he learns how to handle his inner storms, and this makes him unshakable. At first, solitude may feel heavy. The silence of an empty room can be difficult. A man may feel restless, bored, or even sad. But over time, if he uses this phase wisely, he starts to build strength. He learns how to calm his own mind, how to sit with his thoughts, and how to control his feelings instead of being controlled by them. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is the heart of emotional control. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can control your reaction. For example, imagine two men. The first man depends on constant attention. If he does not get a text back, he feels anxious. If someone ignores him, his whole mood is ruined. He is like a leaf blown by the wind. The second man enjoys his solitude. If someone does not reply, he remains calm. If life throws challenges, he does not break down. He knows that his happiness comes from within. He is like a tree, rooted, steady, and strong. Which man has more power? Clearly, the one who controls his emotions. Being single is like training in a mental gym. Each time you face loneliness and stay strong, your emotional muscles grow. Each time you resist anger or sadness, you become more powerful. Slowly, you reach a level where outside events do not shake you easily. This does not mean a single man feels nothing. He still experiences joy, sadness, love, and loss. But the difference is, he does not become a slave to these emotions. He observes them, understands them, and responds with wisdom. This is what Stoics call self-mastery. Emotional control also protects a man from manipulation. When others know that you are desperate for attention, they can easily play with your feelings. But when you are calm and centered, no one can control you. You cannot be blackmailed by silence, rejection, or drama. This makes you truly free. Another benefit is peace. A man who is in charge of his emotions lives a calmer life. He does not waste energy in unnecessary fights. He does not lose focus because of temporary feelings. He remains steady on his path. And that steadiness makes him attractive and respected. So when a man is single and learns to master his emotions, he becomes unshakable. He is no longer a prisoner of loneliness, fear, or anger. Instead, he becomes the master of himself. The world may shake, but he does not. Life may test him, but he remains calm. This is the mark of a truly strong man. Point 5. Social power. Respect without chasing. Being single is not just about independence or financial control. It's also about social power. Social power doesn't mean dominating people or forcing attention. It's the quiet strength that comes from being respected without begging for it. From being someone who naturally draws others in because of their presence, character, and confidence. Many men make a common mistake. They try too hard to impress others. They overextend themselves socially, chase attention, or adjust their personality just to fit in. This is exhausting and often invisible. People can sense when someone is desperate for validation, and respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned naturally. When a man is single, he automatically gains the chance to recalibrate his social life. Without a partner as a social crutch, he must learn to interact, communicate, and connect on his own terms. This develops authentic charisma. He learns how to carry a room without trying too hard, how to speak with confidence, and how to build genuine relationships. Think about it. A single man who has worked on himself, who has his own goals, passions, and discipline, naturally commands respect. People are drawn to energy, not dependence. When you are comfortable alone, you do not need approval from anyone. That comfort translates into social power. Others feel your presence, without you needing to announce it. Social power also comes from selective interaction. A single man learns to value his time and energy. He chooses whom to spend time with. Instead of blindly following social trends or overcommitting to parties, events, or people who drain him, by setting boundaries, he teaches others how to treat him. Boundaries are not walls. They are respect markers. When you respect yourself, others follow naturally. Furthermore, being single strengthens communication skills. A man who spends time alone reflects on his thoughts, opinions, and feelings. When he speaks, he is clear, concise, and thoughtful. This makes him compelling in conversations and influential in groups. People listen, not because he demands it, but because he brings value. Social power also protects a man from manipulation. People who try to exploit dependency, approval-seeking, or insecurity cannot sway someone who is centered in himself. A single man's neutrality makes him untouchable socially. He does not get dragged into petty games, gossip, or social politics unnecessarily. Instead, he participates selectively, elevating his reputation without trying. Another subtle aspect of social power is the ability to form meaningful friendships. Single men often develop a smaller, more loyal circle. These friendships are based on mutual respect and shared growth, not convenience or dependency. They learn to be a good friend without losing themselves, which is the essence of social strength. Finally, social power increases attraction without effort. When a man respects himself and others, when he is independent, confident, and disciplined, people, especially women, naturally gravitate toward him. He does not chase attention or validation. He commands it silently, effortlessly, through his presence and character. In essence, social power is about being magnetic without being desperate, commanding respect without demanding it, and living on your own terms while building meaningful connections. Being single is the ultimate social training ground. It transforms a man from a follower into someone who stands out quietly but unmistakably in any social circle. Point 6. Self-respect. Honor above all. One of the most powerful advantages of being single is the opportunity to build and protect self-respect. Self-respect is not about ego, arrogance, or showing off. It's about knowing your worth, honoring your values, and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Many men in relationships unknowingly compromise their self-respect. They stay in toxic situations, tolerate disrespect, or adjust themselves constantly to please others. Over time, this erodes their inner strength. When a man is single, he is forced to face himself. He can no longer hide behind a partner or seek validation from someone else. This creates a unique environment to define boundaries, clarify values, and stand firm in them. Every choice he makes, how he spends his time, how he treats others, and how he handles challenges, reinforces his self-respect. Self-respect starts with honesty. A single man learns to be honest with himself first. He examines his habits, weaknesses, and desires without sugarcoating them. This self-awareness becomes the foundation for making decisions that honor his worth. He no longer accepts behavior that diminishes him or tolerates situations that compromise his values. Consider two men. The first man constantly seeks approval from others. He avoids conflict, agrees with everyone, and prioritizes others' happiness above his own. On the surface, he appears friendly, but internally, he is eroding his self-respect. People sense this insecurity and it weakens his influence. The second man values himself first. He speaks his truth, sets clear boundaries, and acts consistently with his principles. Even if people disagree or leave, he remains steady. This man commands respect not by force, but by the undeniable authority of self-respect. Being single allows a man to practice saying no without guilt. He learns that refusing to compromise his standards is not selfish. It is essential for maintaining dignity. Every time he stands firm, he strengthens his character. Over time, this becomes a habit, and he naturally attracts people who honor him rather than those who exploit or manipulate him. Self-respect also shields a man in relationships later on. When he does enter a partnership, he does so from a position of strength, not neediness. He does not tolerate abuse, neglect, or disrespect. He chooses partners who complement his life rather than complete it. This ability to maintain standards comes only from time spent alone, cultivating independence and self-worth. Another aspect of self-respect is integrity. A single man learns to align his actions with his words. He does not lie, cheat, or manipulate to gain advantage. He understands that reputation is fragile and that true respect is earned through consistent, honorable behavior. Point 7. Attraction. Becoming irresistible. Being single gives a man the rare opportunity to become truly attractive, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and socially. True attraction is a combination of confidence, character, independence, and presence. It is not about showing off, chasing attention, or trying to please everyone. A man who is single has the perfect environment to cultivate these qualities and become irresistible naturally. Many men misunderstand attraction. They think it's about muscles, looks, or flashy gestures. While physical appearance matters, it is only one layer. The deeper attraction comes from how a man carries himself, how he thinks, how he reacts to challenges, and how he respects himself and others. Being single allows a man to focus on all these layers without distraction. First, confidence is built in solitude. A single man learns to trust his own decisions, face life's difficulties alone, and take responsibility for his happiness. This self-reliance radiates confidence. People are drawn to men who are grounded, calm, and assured. They sense strength, not neediness, and this creates natural attraction. Second, independence is magnetic. A man who lives for himself, manages his finances, and pursues personal growth does not depend on others for validation. This independence sends a clear signal. He is complete on his own, and any relationship is a choice, not a necessity. This kind of presence is rare and compelling. Third, emotional mastery enhances attraction. When a man controls his emotions, he does not react impulsively or seek attention through drama. Instead, he responds with calmness, thoughtfulness, and maturity. Emotional stability is attractive because it promises safety, reliability, and a sense of security, qualities that everyone values. Fourth, self-respect creates magnetic energy. A man who values himself, sets boundaries, and refuses to tolerate disrespect becomes irresistible. People are naturally drawn to those who honor themselves. Respect begets respect, and self-respect signals that a man is someone worth knowing, following, and trusting. Fifth, social power amplifies attraction. A single man learns to communicate effectively, build meaningful relationships, and interact confidently in social settings. He does not chase approval but earns attention naturally. This social competence, combined with independence and self-respect, forms a presence that others cannot ignore. Sixth, continual personal growth makes a man intriguing. Whether it's learning new skills, pursuing hobbies, advancing his career, or staying fit, a man who invests in himself develops depth and substance. Depth is magnetic. People are drawn to those who have a life, purpose, and vision beyond just the superficial. Finally, a single man who masters attraction does so effortlessly. He does not need validation, constant approval, or external recognition. His energy, confidence, and presence speak for him. This makes him irresistible in any setting, socially, professionally, or romantically. Attraction becomes a natural byproduct of a life well lived, not a performance or act. In essence, true attraction is the combination of confidence, independence, emotional control, self-respect, social skill, and personal growth. Being single is the ultimate training ground for all these qualities. A man who embraces this stage does not just become attractive, he becomes irresistible, commanding attention without asking for it and naturally drawing people into his orbit.